Hello everyone and welcome back to the SteemTrail Gaming News. Today is the 5th May 2018. My name is Kralizec and I will be your host for this evening. Today we got 3 stories for you guys. First, we're going to take a look at the controversial Nvidia GeForce partner program. Secondly, we're going to talk about the fact that the Nintendo Pro Switch controller is now fully compatible with Steam, at least in the beta version of Steam. And last of all, we're going to talk about how you can get Destiny 2 just for $12 US. But let's begin with Nvidia and the GeForce partner program. I should probably start by an explanation of what this program actually is. So about two and a half months ago, Nvidia announced its new affiliate program, commonly known as GPP, and right off the bat it just became sort of a big controversy. Well, not sort of, it was one of the biggest controversies of this year so far. What the program essentially was is a program to which graphics cards makers, anything from Gainward to Asus, all the brands, could join up to get exclusive perks, including things like early access and enhanced marketing support. So far this seems like a pretty normal brand deal, right? But then some voices in the industry came out and said, well, it essentially means that the brands that are purely for gaming, you might know the Asus ROG, Republic of Gamers, that it could be only used with Nvidia products. And other people sort of got worried that this could mean that Nvidia is trying to corner out AMD out of the GPU market. And you need to remember, Nvidia already holds the lion's share over AMD in terms of GPUs. I think the last numbers I read were something like 70 to 75% of all graphics cards used are Nvidia cards. Sorry about that. And only about 30, maybe the most optimistic I've heard was 33% were AMD cards. This is largely due to the fact that at the moment Nvidia cards are actually better and better priced. For a simple reason. AMD cards tend to be slightly better when it comes to general calculations, which means that miners buy them in huge amounts. Like, they go into a store and buy like 20 580s. And this wasn't the case with Nvidia cards, but the crypto craze that happened, let's say from November to October, actually led to many people buying even 1060s and 1070s for absurd prices. Like, I have about a year and a half old 1070, and I could still go onto the secondhand market and sell it for almost the same price I bought it for. A year and a half old card. That's just pure ridiculousness, if that's even a word. I think it is. And it just seemed that Nvidia is trying to limit the marketing uses of the brand initially, but then people came up with concerns, okay, but what happens to the companies that don't sign on to the GeForce partner program? Could Nvidia maybe limit their supply of chips? Perhaps. Perhaps they could, and it wouldn't even be necessarily anything the regular consumer would notice. And companies like, I think it was Asus actually, even who signed up to the program, actually created its own brand or own gaming brand of products that were solely going to be used for or AMD products. Sort of signaling that this might be the case, that they just are going to be forced to split this. But after many people, I think the most influential one was Linus from Linus Tech Tips. If you don't know that channel and are a hardware enthusiast, I highly suggest you subscribe to that because it's a great channel. Awesome production value and good information. Honestly, it's one of the best hardware channels there is. But it seems the forces of good have won this time against the forces of Nvidia. As today's announcement from Nvidia is, a lot has been said recently about our GeForce partner program. The rumors, conjecture, and mysteries go far beyond its intent. Rather than battling misinformation, we have decided to cancel the program. So the GPP no longer exists, and that's just a good thing, because it was seriously of concern that Nvidia could try to corner out of the market AMD, even though it is still winning the majority of the market, and especially the higher end where the profit margins are just so much more higher. They had the lions. Like, I'm going to bet when it comes to the top end, there really isn't anything that AMD even has to offer to battle the Nvidia 1080 Ti. And when it comes to the 1080, maybe the Vega 64 can battle in certain games, but in most of the games, it just cannot compare. The 1080 is still better, and the 1080 Ti is just like 10-15% even above that. So I'm glad Nvidia decided to cancel the program, because, well, we've seen what happens to a market where there's only one serious competitor with CPUs in the past years. Sorry about that, something was stuck on my mouth. Where Intel, its progress when it comes to CPU was almost halted, like getting 5, maybe if you were lucky, 10% out of a new generation of CPUs was just ridiculous. And we were stuck with 4-core CPUs for so long until the Ryzen CPUs came to the market. And suddenly AMD had 6-core CPUs, and Intel was like, oh, you know what? We have them as well, like right here. It was so obvious they had them ready, because creating a CPU is such a long-term thing, and that they just randomly came up with them as the Zen architecture came to the market. No, that just didn't happen. That was ready there. I'm pretty sure they had the chips layouts and the architecture and everything ready for like 2 generations, and just didn't came up to the market with them, because, well, why would they? They could make cheaper to make CPUs for the same exact price they were just now selling 6-core CPUs. They weren't forced by the market because they had essentially no competition. And if that happens to the GPU market, well, guess what? Nvidia will have no driving force behind it to create better and better products. They will slightly iterate. So you will be like, okay, it's good enough for me to upgrade, but I'm not happy about it. Right now, with each new generation of CPUs, it's an awesome deal you're getting. So hopefully AMD can get out of rot. I'm hoping the next generation of GPUs from AMD will actually be much better than the current Vega generation, because, let's be blunt, that wasn't the best generation. It just wasn't. Okay, our second piece of news is about the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which is now supported by the Steam client. More specifically, it's only available to those who are signed into the Steam client beta, because otherwise it's not available at the moment. And what this means is that if you have gotten used to the Switch Pro controller while playing on your Switch, you can now use it with Steam games as well. You can use the community creator profiles for your favorite games, or you can create your own profiles and share them with the community. So otherwise there really isn't that much to say about this. It just means that if you have a Nintendo Switch Pro controller lying at home and you really like it, you can now use it with your PC. I honestly haven't done my research into it. I'm pretty sure you could probably use it in some way before. I'm pretty sure, but maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm sorry I didn't do my research. I'm really sorry. But who knows? Hopefully this is something that's interesting to you guys and will prove useful. And our last piece of news is about a great deal that is now available through Humble Monthly. So first, what is Humble Monthly? Humble Monthly is a subscription-based service where for $12 per month, you get access to, let's say on average, somewhere between 5 to 7 games every month. Obviously, most of these games aren't your most popular AAA titles, but many of the games actually are. Just this month, games that are included in the program are Dead Rising 4, Kerbal Space Program, Ruiner, Moon Hunters, Jalopy, and Crazy Machines. And some of the other AAA games that were included in past in April was Mafia 3, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Lara Croft Go. In March it was Dark Souls 3, Overgrowth. In February it was Civilization 5, Life is Strange. And in January it was Warhammer 40,000, Dawn of War 3, Tomb Raider. Yeah, the old one, but who cares? You can see the games on offer here are just amazing, and I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to the service, as always part of the profits go to some charity. But this month there is an additional deal for you guys available, and that is that with the purchase of the subscription you just get Destiny 2 on top of the deal. And you need to keep in mind, Destiny 2 is still a $60 game if you buy on your own. Right now, if I just go to Destiny 2, it's not on Steam, I'm a dumbass. Destiny 2 price. So if I look to the Blizzard shop, I'm pretty sure it's $60. Sorry, my internet is not responding as quick as I would like today. Yeah, so yeah, standard edition is $60. If you go for the expansion pass bundle, it's $90. If you go for a digital deluxe edition, that's even $100. So getting Destiny 2 for just $12 is an amazing deal. Obviously, if you just want Destiny 2, you can just buy the subscription for a month, get Destiny 2, and cancel the subscription. It's a 5 times better deal than directly through Activision Blizzard right now. But I would highly encourage you just to keep the subscription, because it's a great deal. Part of the money goes to charity. And what else can you really want from a gaming bundle? Not much else. And with that being said, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribing to the channel. If you are watching on Steam, maybe you want to give us an upvote and follow the blog. Either way, be sure to leave a comment and be sure to tune in tomorrow with more gaming news, as we are your source of daily gaming news every single day. See you guys later with more gaming content.